So I'm making another video. I don't know how I feel about this makeup. It was supposed to be, oh hi Muffin. It was supposed to be like butterfly, but it's really fucking messy cause my hands were shaking really bad. Um, I am more calm than I was yesterday. Um, I've decided I want to talk about my best friend. And this video will probably make me cry, but I just spent hours on my makeup. So maybe something in my brain will make me not do that. If you see this, I know my makeup looks crazy. Please don't be mean. I don't love it, but I think with practice it could be better. Anyways, I've decided I want to talk about my best friend because on Sunday, today's Friday, on Sunday she would have been 20. Um, Her name was Cassidy Jade. Her last name was Mitchell, and I love her, and she loved me. And she died this year in April. Um, she died on April 15th in a car accident. Um, it wasn't her fault. It was this kid. He was 16. I'm not gonna name drop. If you looked hard enough, you could probably find him anyways, but he was in my little sister's grade at school. They went to school together. I went to school with them at one point, but this happened not even a year after we graduated. Cassidy and I were in the same grade. We went to the same school. But back to the story of her death, because I don't know, I just want to tell it, get it out. Um, it was April 15th, 4:02 p.m. was her official time of death. Um, I've talked to her mom a good bit after her death, and I've learned a lot. I know the kid that killed her also died. He basically, from the accident report and witnesses that were there, he drove. Wait, let me walk it back. It was a 5-lane highway, 2 lanes going opposite directions, and then one central turning lane for left turns. So he kind of just drove headfirst into my best friend's car, and he hit her. I don't know how fast he was going. The speed limit was 55 though. But I know after he hit her, the car kept moving and he flipped it upside down. And I don't know why he did that, but he died and so did my best friend. So, um, they sent his body off for an autopsy. I don't know what the results were. He might have been on something. There's been a few different rumors: drugs, seizure, texting and driving, just being an inexperienced driver because he was 16. Um, I don't know. I don't really care because it doesn't matter why he did it because it happened and they're both gone. And worrying about it and trying to figure it out is not going to bring either of them back. It's not gonna bring her back. I wish it would, but I can't. Um, I met Cassidy when we were in 8th grade. Oh no, I'm already starting to cry. It's okay. But, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but I do see I've been filming for 5 minutes already. But, I met Cassidy in 8th grade. Um, I moved around a lot as a kid because my dad was in the military, and my mom is a Christian, and she used to always keep me and my sister in Christian private schools. And then over the summer, right before 8th grade was supposed to start, they called me in and were like, "We know you're gay, and we don't want you here. That's against our school's policies." And so I got added to my parents, and that was that. And I had to find a new school. So I ended up at my new school where I was gonna meet my best friend. Um, I don't even remember meeting her, which feels shitty in hindsight. I don't remember meeting her. I just remember that we've always been friends from the time we met till the time she died, and I know that if she were still alive, we would still be friends. Um, I used to be really unstable when I was younger. I'm still not super stable, but I'm definitely more stable than I was. Because of my instability and my mental illness, I was really bad at keeping friends. I was just generally hard to be around. Um, I don't think I deserved everything that happened to me, the amount of bullying and fake friends that I had throughout like the first few years of high school and middle school, but you know, it's the hand I was dealt. Out of all the friends I lost and gained, Cassidy was the only constant. She never left. She was by my side no matter what, and I mean, no matter what. Sometimes I was probably a really shitty friend. I'm not even gonna pretend that I was a good friend to her the whole time, because I wasn't, which fucking sucks. It really fucking sucks that I couldn't get over my stupid shit to be there for her through everything. But, we were friends in 8th grade, and then the pandemic happened, and we barely talked. Um, we only argued one time, and it was around when I first met her. I was mad at her for being a Christian because I didn't know that there were good Christians in the world and they weren't all hateful bigots. And I don't know why I thought I needed to argue with her about this, because obviously she was nothing but kind to me. And clearly she wasn't going to do anything bad to me. And I was convinced that she was out to get me because she was a Christian. I don't know. But eventually the argument ended and we moved on and everything was fine. And then COVID happened and we didn't see each other because no one really saw anyone. And we went back to school in 9th grade and I barely saw her. To be honest, I can't even remember if she was in person or if she was online, which again is really, really fucking shitty of me to not know. So, oh, my hand's shaking real bad. I'm sorry if this video is like super shaky and jittery, but let me just rest my hand there, yeah. But we didn't get really close till our sophomore year. And that's like, she was my only friend. My sophomore year, I lost all of my friends. because I was so mentally ill. It was just like I couldn't stop thinking or talking about the shit going on in my head and like the fucked up shit I was going through. So I could not be present for anyone. And it fucking sucks. It absolutely blows how self centered I was. But again, I can't change anything. But I lost all my friends, and I don't hold it for them. I don't care anymore. But Cassidy stayed. Should she have stayed? Probably not, but she did. Because she was kind. Um, I eventually ended up going to the mental hospital. It wasn't just the mental hospital, it was a long term residential facility for my mental health. Up until this point, I had been to the psych ward 5 times. Every time I went, she would text me long messages about how much she misses me, how much she can't wait for me to come back, and how much she loves me. And I was so grateful that someone still cared. Because I didn't think anyone cared about me anymore, but she did. Um, I finally went to long term and I got my phone 2 times while I was there, and both times she messaged me and I talked to her pretty much the entire time I would get my phone, because I would get it on day passes when you get to leave the facility for a day. And so I would talk to her the whole day because my parents sucked and I had no friends except for her. So I would catch up with her. When I got out, um, I broke my back and she saw that I broke my back and messaged me a long, nice message. She was so kind. Um, she wanted to be a musician, a pop star, and she wanted to be famous, and just she had big goals. And because she died at 19, she didn't get to be a famous musician, and that sucks. She was so young and she didn't get to do anything because she just died. Um, I used to go to her birthday party every year. I went the year before I went, not the year, but the birthday party before I went to YV, which was in August 2021. It was when she turned 16. We had fun. She got her car. That was her birthday gift from her parents. And that's where she died. She died in the car she got for her 16th birthday. It was a Jeep Renegade. I don't know what year it was. But yeah. We stayed close, but then I got this boyfriend and I became really codependent because he was a manipulative love bomber, and I felt like he would be there forever and that I needed to give him all of my attention and time. When I got out of YV that August, I went to Cassie's 17th birthday party and I talked to my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend. She later came out as trans, but I was on my phone texting her the entire time. I couldn't even be there for my best friend because I was talking to my stupid ass ex-girlfriend. We weren't even dating yet, but something just drew me to her, and I couldn't get away. In October, after her birthday, her 17th birthday, I started dating this guy slash, I guess, girl now. And no one really saw or heard from me. People messaged me, my friends, just everyone, and I just never answered. I was horrible. And then she broke up with me a few months later, and I reconnected with all of my friends and talked all the shit in the world. And then I got back with her like it was nothing. Like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't broken up with me in the middle of the night for no reason. Cassidy watched me go back every time, and sometimes I wouldn't tell her until I absolutely had to, because it just felt so fucking awful. Like, I just felt disgusting that I was throwing away all my time with all of my friends and family for this stupid, evil bitch. I don't know where I was going with that, but, she stayed by my side through all of this. She stayed by my side. She never left me. She was a very loyal friend. She would talk shit about my ex-girlfriend with me, and she just was so supportive. And whenever I would bail on her for my stupid ex-girlfriend, she'd be like, "It's okay, I understand." And I would kind of hang out short with her, and I would go back to my stupid ex-girlfriend's house. And it was so shitty of me. But Cassie stayed with me anyways. She stayed my best friend. I remember the last time I ever saw her alive. It was her 19th birthday party. It was September 1st. It was the day after I told my evil ex-girlfriend that I didn't want to talk to her for a long time. I told her, "Don't talk to me before New Year's." She said she would stay loyal. She wouldn't do anything with anyone else. We broke up because she cheated on me. And I wanted space from her to think if I wanted to get back together or not, because she wanted to fix it, but I didn't really want to. But, so on Cassie's actual birthday, I told my ex I didn't want to hear from her until January, so I could think. I go to Cassie's birthday party the next day. All I can talk about is my evil ex-girlfriend. That's it. I tell her happy birthday. I tell her I hope everything's good with her. I hope college is going well. College is shitty for me, and my life kind of blows right now. And that's it. That's all I remember. And I hugged her and I told her I loved her. And that was our goodbye. I texted her. We talked several times after the last time I saw her alive. But because my ex-girlfriend was basically living in my apartment because we got back together shortly after, because of course we did, I didn't hang out with her at all. I didn't hang out with any of my friends. I assumed that we'd see each other again, probably on her birthday. Oh no, I'm gonna cry all of this makeup off, I fear. I've been talking for 20 minutes. But, I thought I'd see her again, and I didn't. Um, a few months later, I remember my rabbit from when I was a kid. She died, and I told Cassie and talked to her about it, and I remember she said that I need to remember the good times and that I'll see her again. And I've been dwelling on that conversation and trying to, like, I don't know, remember. Because my evil ex took up so much real estate in my brain that I don't remember anything. And it's horrible. It's horrible. Um, I talked to her several times. We weren't the kind of friends to talk every day, but she was my best friend. She was there for me through everything, and no one else was. The last time I ever texted her was the end of February. I meant to message her again, but she had left me unopened. So I just didn't text her. I don't know why. She left me unopened because all I said was okay. The conversation was over and it never picked back up. On April 15th, she died. A couple days before, that Sunday before she died on a Tuesday, I had this weird feeling. And I cried thinking someone was gonna die. And I know people are gonna think I'm crazy for this, but I swear I knew it was coming. I shrugged it off because I have bereavement trauma from other people I love dying. And so it was like I just ignored it. And then Tuesday, she died. I think I'm gonna talk about how I found out now. I first found out about the accident from my friend Zach. Zach told me there was a crazy accident in my hometown and multiple people died, and I asked him who, and he said the name of the kid that killed my best friend, and he didn't know who else. I see people from my hometown in high school posting about the wreck, and I just had this feeling. So I Googled the accident, and it didn't say who had died, but it said that the Jeep Renegade driver had died, and I was like, my brain instantly went, Cassie drives the Jeep Renegade. And so I started crying because I just kind of knew in my chest that she had died in that accident. Um, Eventually someone from our old friend group posted, "Rest in peace, Cassidy. I can't believe you're gone already." And I messaged him and I was like, "Which Cassidy?" Because he spelled her name wrong. So I was like, maybe it's a different Cassidy. But it wasn't. It was my Cassidy. Not even 5 minutes later, her dad messages me, "Cheyenne, please call me as soon as you get a chance. It's about Cassidy." Obviously, I already knew she was dead, but I called him and he told me, "Hey, Cheyenne, Cassidy was in an accident this afternoon and she passed away. I thought I should let you know because she always said that you were her best friend." And I was just like, I know, I'm sorry. And then the phone call ended. And I just sat for a few minutes and felt it all. And then I started pacing my apartment. And I screamed and I cried and I called my mom and she couldn't understand what I was saying. So I had to message her. And I was like, Cassidy's dead. She died in an accident because I'd already called my mom to tell her about the car accident because I was like, that's fucking crazy. That doesn't happen often around there. Nothing happens where I lived. So, um, I had to tell my mom. And then I told my ex girlfriend, not the evil one that I was talking about that ate all of my time and my memories and everything, different ex girlfriend. Because we finally broke up. Me and my evil ex girlfriend broke up in January. Um, so I called my ex girlfriend and she wouldn't answer. And I texted her what happened. And she said that that was triggering for her. And I started to hate her, but I couldn't break up with her because I didn't need to also go through a breakup. That was not gonna help what I was going through. I didn't see my ex at all for several days, and the first day we were supposed to see each other, she canceled on me to go smoke weed with her friend, which solidified my just hatred for her because I'm like, we'd been dating for about 3 months at that point, and she just still like could not be there for me during like literally the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. So I'm like, what the fuck ever. And I just die for a while afterwards. I was so depressed, I couldn't clean my apartment, I couldn't do my schoolwork, and I couldn't even move. I would like go back and forth between my apartment and my parents' house, which is like an hour and a half drive. And I'd be fine over there around my family, but the second I would step foot in my apartment, I would just fall. Like I would just be in the fetal position on the floor. Eventually, after some amount of time that I don't even know how long I would be down for, I would get up and I would just go to bed and I would sleep. And I would sleep and I would get up and then I would remember that my best friend is dead and it was just this endless cycle of misery. They didn't bury her for a while after she died because she died taking her little brother to McDonald's. He survived, so her parents were busy in the hospital with him. He was there for 3 weeks. So, it was hard for them to plan and have a funeral during that time. But they did have it before her little brother got out of the hospital. I spoke at her funeral. Everyone said I did a good job, but I honestly don't think anyone could understand me because of how hard I was crying. I really didn't want to look, and I really didn't think they would have not a closed. I really didn't think they would have an open casket because of how she died. I thought her body would look bad. And it did look bad, but it didn't look bad in the way I thought it would. She looked like she'd been in the fridge for too long. She didn't look like she died in a car accident. I didn't want to look, but it's like one of those things where it's like, it's really hard not to. And anyways, so I went to the, like, I guess like it's called a wake or something like that. And like you just see the family members visitation, that's what it's called. I went to the visitation the night before and then I went to the funeral. And at the visitation they had her casket open, but I got to the point where I couldn't look and I like didn't look. So I didn't really see her. I just knew it was open because my mom was there and she was like, Cheyenne, don't look over there. The casket's open. And I was like, okay. Because I knew I didn't want to see her if the casket was open. But then after the funeral ceremony, on the way out, they opened her casket for everyone to pass. It was by the only exit in the room. And I was the first group to be dismissed because I was in one of the front rows. So they open her casket and I walk past and I see her. She was very yellow and her eyes were like sunken in purple. I don't know if they tried to do purple eyeshadow or if she was just dead. Like, yeah, she was dead, but like if that was just a sign of decomposition. And her hands were like wrinkly in the sense of like she's dead and rotting. It was disgusting to look at. And I was just like gasping for air. It was more than a panic attack. I was wailing as I was trying to breathe. It felt like I was being strangled from how upset I was, like the pain in my throat and just like gasping for air. Because it felt like I'd been punched. It just felt so painful. Because it's like, my best friend of almost 6 years is dead in that casket and there's nothing I can do. She's dead. She's never coming back. She may look asleep, but she's dead. And so I start wailing and crying and gasping for air. And I've never felt that bad before in my entire life because it was like, my best friend's dead and now she's gonna rot. And like, I don't want to think about that. But seeing her body, that's all I could think about is like, she's gonna rot. She's gonna be bones. Her face is gonna be gone. Her hair is gonna be gone. She's just gone. Her memories, her thoughts, everything is just gone. And it's like, it's not fair. She was so young and she was so kind. She was the only person who showed me kindness in times where no one else would. And she was the one to die in a car accident at 19. The best person I know, the best person I've ever met died in a car accident. And that just doesn't feel right. That's not fair. She should have grown old. She should have just lived. But she didn't get to. And it's just not fair. And for a while I thought about trying to believe in God. But it just like, I know too much. I felt too much pain to be like, God's real. God's there for me. This is part of his plan because that's not fucking fair. She shouldn't have died. She didn't even cause the wreck. She was a good driver. She tried to move, but she couldn't because someone was on the other side of her. So she died. It's just wrong. It's all wrong. But, I think that covers the main points of what I was going to talk about. And I've been going on for 34 minutes now, which is honestly way longer than I thought it would take for me to make this video. I don't think anyone watched my last video, and if they did, I don't know if they're gonna see this one or come back. But, if anyone else sees this, hi. I probably should have started with an intro instead of introducing myself at the end. But, my name is Cheyenne. I am going through a lot right now. And my friend's girlfriend told me I should start vlogging. So I am doing that now. I think this is a good way to get this all off of my chest. And maybe someone will be inspired by my story or relate to my story and find comfort knowing that they're not alone. You're not alone. But anyways, bye.